In this video, I'm going to go into more depth on the gotchas we found with the Vevor Adjustable Welding Table. But more importantly, we're also going to show you how we fix them quickly and for only a few dollars more, keeping the cost almost the same as a Harbor Freight table. I still wouldn't rate it a 5 yet, but it's definitely closer to why we bought it in the first place. That being having all the features of a Nomad or Eastwood tilt adjustable welding table, but for the price point of a Harbor Freight. Now, according to the sales brochure and pictures, it is a great table at a great price, aka it's a Nomad-like table at a Harbor Freight price. That said, it shows in the brochure that it has large plastic star knobs for locking the height adjustments and large plastic lever stops for controlling the tilt mechanism. And it's actually shown as being better than the other two, and that it can support up to 400 pounds. I believe both of the others, or all three of the others, the Harbor Freight, the Nomad, and or the Eastwood, are rated at 350. Sadly, those sales brochures and pics and information on their website didn't match up with what we ended up getting, or what was in the box. Most of, in fact, all of these gotchas I'm going to show you, except for the last one, which is a big gotcha, is why I sincerely doubt this could hold the same as, let alone more than, the other tables. First is that it has bolt that's tacked into the tube and comes out the other end for the rotator to attach to. And the rotator is attached by a small wing nut instead of that large plastic lever. So you can only tighten this down with your, finger tight with your, you can't crank down on it, I don't think. Well, you could if you get pliers and stuff, but I consider this a flaw. But it gets even worse because the small notch stops that are supposed to lock it into different lever positions, 15, 30, 90, whatever it is, 45. There's small notches there, but you don't have anything that's going to fit into them because the bolt's going through, and then there's a washer nut, wing nut. So there's nothing that's going to catch in that notch. If you had the levers would have had a shoulder on them that would catch in this notch. Also, these notches are small, really small, and the rotator mechanism, the slot, is also very narrow. It doesn't glide very well on the bolt that comes out of the up and down leg. Speaking of which, the legs themselves, the lower legs, are only 0.05 thick, and I'm pretty sure the Harbor Freight and the Nomads are 0.65 real tubing. This is thin wall, I guess 18, 19 gauge metal that's been formed with a weld seam on it. So I'd be leery about this metal lasting for a really long time, or putting a lot of weight on it. And if you combine that with these other features, I have a real problem thinking that as we got it, it would have been okay. This is the big gotcha that we showed in the last video. The fact that this cross brace piece here that comes across and locks the two up and down legs together is too short. So we had to move the rotator inside of where it was supposed to be attached to, and we had to add washers in there. So these are all the big gotchas that we had to fix. So now let's look more in depth at the actual table, and I can show you in detail these items as well as how we did fix them. And for only a few dollars. Well, for under $20. Relatively big difference between this plate and the Harbor Freight or the Nomad or Eastwood is, you see these catches for the different spaces to stop it. These are really small. notches, and it really doesn't matter because all you have is this bolt coming through that you're putting a washer and then a wing nut on, so there's nothing to hold it there. The Harbor Freights and the others have something that'll click into there when you tighten it down, so it can't move in either direction. We're going to change that to the plates. See how they have nice big holes in them now. That's 11/16 drill bit I did that with, and that fits nice over the washers. That's a washer for 8mm, so they'll lock in nice. The washer thickness is the same as the plate, which is great. Also, I made these a little bit wider, so I filed both sides, and that makes this now turn. That makes this turn now real easy, and then the washer will catch here. And I also got 8mm wing nuts to go on. That'll fasten to the washer, and I'll put a probably a thick washer here. I'll probably put a thick washer here, but this will hold this washer in these positions, and that'll lock it in solid. $39. The washers were 37 cents, and the reforming of the plates, or the drilling out of the plates and filing them so that they have nice grooves, is priceless. Put these plates back on the side they're supposed to be. I took all the washers out, and I put in our little twist nut, locked down with the washer in there, hold it in place. Did that on both sides, and now I lowered it all the way down. And I think you can see that those holes are lined up. I come over here, and that's how far off it is. This is correct. To replace the piece that doesn't fit, we have some 3/4 inch tubing that's heavy gauge, and what I did was I marked off an inch from each end, and I cut through 3 sides, and then I'm cutting here and here. I'll pull this out, break that off, and then I'll fold down these sides and drill holes in it, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So the ends are bent over and flattened down on both sides. Now to drill the holes, I'm using the original piece because it spaces them out perfectly if you put it right to the end. And I'm putting it to the top of these so that my one hole is in here and one hole is in here instead of on the bends. I like that because then one piece is actually in this 1-inch tube, and one is above supporting, and this will be like a dog leg. And I did the same thing on the other side, but since this piece is too short, I had to push it to the end to get the right location. I'll drill those holes and then mount this. So here it is with the holes drilled. And I'm not worried that this isn't pretty and it's not cleaned up, it's not painted. This is just structural for now. I'll probably redo this later with something else, but I don't want to spend any more money than I have to. Part of the reason I got this was to save money. Here you can see then assembled and opened up, and you can see this is really thin. And if I do the inside and do the deductions, it comes out to being basically 0.05 thickness. The tubes that go into it, however, are reasonable. I actually couldn't find to buy any of this thin. This feels, I mean, it feels okay. For now, I'm going to use it until and see how much it wears out. If it does wear, I'm imagining that it could with flex. There's not much there, and when it does, I'll rebuild either these pieces with a thicker tube here and or the legs. But for now, I did this to save money, so and the price of steel is higher. Maybe it'll get down when steel gets lower, but we'll use it. I mean, I got it. Might as well use it.